So maybe you guys are not aware, but narcissists also go to church. And I think that is a shocker because you would want to believe that people attend their people attend church, the church goers. They attend church to affirm their belief in God, in Christ, in Jesus. It is what they want. So it's an affirmation that they want to worship, and it's a good thing to worship. Okay, if you're a religious person, as you guys know, I have no problem with religion. On this channel, we have people who are religious, different types of religion. There's no problem with that. But sometimes you can be shocked when you finally realize you have been dealing with a narcissist who is also a churchgoer. They go to church. Now, in my own opinion, I remember telling you guys that not every narcissist knows that they're narcissists, okay? This entire thing is spiritual, so many of them are not even aware. They just find themselves trapped in this cycle that is impossible to break. They cannot break this cycle. Is why sometimes you hear people telling you things like they cannot heal, okay? It's not possible for them to heal. They have to have a will to heal. But according to what we know, we already know they do not have a will. And you see, people that go to church, they go there with good intentions, okay? People go to church with good intentions. It's their faith. It's what they believe in. It's their religion. There's no problem with that. But inside of that church, somehow these narcissists know, because you see, a narcissist is looking for that kind of individual that is not aware of who they are and is not aware of what narcissism is. So they believe easy targets can also be found in the church. And we're not even talking about the members themselves. We're also talking about the leaders of the church. You guys have been hearing a lot of times, these priests who have been caught pedophiles sleeping with young kids, young boys or whatever. You've heard these stories. It's not a coincidence. These are narcissists they are talking about. Okay? There's nobody of a sane mind will go ahead and try to sleep with a little child. So there has to be something wrong with the person eventually, because you know the difference between a child and an adult. So you hear those stories of those people who are doing those things. You also hear stories of leaders, pastors, church leaders, and maybe sometimes priests. This thing normally happens in a lot of Pentecostal churches. I have visited so many of them, okay? You guys have no idea. So there was a time I was desperately looking for myself, and I thought that, okay, let me go and find God. So I started visiting those churches one by one, number of them. And every church where I visited, there was things that I could see leaders doing, pastors doing, and they could confirm to me that the God was not even present in the church. It doesn't mean that because you're in church, you're just in a building, okay? You're just in a building with other people who are practicing a similar faith. But in actual reality, you will be surprised, ladies and gentlemen, that some of those leaders, the ones who are running those churches, those people are evil, okay? They're involved in a lot of evil deeds. So church is also a playing ground. The nurses can play anywhere, but church is also one of them. Church is among them. It's a playing ground for them. They need those God-fearing people, because they need the biggest prize. And those God-fearing people who are in those churches, they are the ones that fall target and victims. So when I was starting my journey back in the years, there was a channel I used to follow. I don't even know if that lady is still producing videos. It's been a very long time. So that church was married to, that individual was married to, that lady was married to a religious narcissist, okay? This particular religious narcissist was the leader of a certain church. I'm believing it was an evangelical church, maybe some kind of a Pentecost church. So this individual was married to the leader of that particular church. And believe me, when you hear the stories this lady had to say, you would be surprised that that kind of person was running an entire church with hundreds of people. I don't know how big was the church. So, a lot of you guys who are churchgoers, it's time for you to keep your guards up, okay? If you start seeing a lot of this foolery going on, your intuition is telling you that there's something wrong in that church because of the things they are doing, the way they behave, then it is time for you, ladies and gentlemen, to leave, okay? Because when we're talking about trauma bonds also happen in church. A person can be tied spiritually to a church. I've seen a lot of churches where you hear different things being said about the church. Horrible things. They will say things like, your pastor doing this, or your pastor did that, or they say this, or they say that. And there will even be evidence. But there is people in that church that are not going to leave. They're not going anywhere. You will see them the next Sunday, they will be back. They will keep on giving their tithes, offerings to that leader that everybody knows is a wicked or evil person. Okay? So a person can get trauma bonded in the church, and especially good people, because there is no easy way to trauma bond a person than find an individual who is a very God-fearing person. Because those guys are caught off guard. They are unaware. Okay? The first thing that will come to your mind will be like, oh, this is a church, so everybody is here to praise. We are here to read the Bible, sing the psalms, the hymns, and the words. Some of them are even in the choir. So, I left religion, okay? I left religion because what I saw, that was my own experience. I don't want you guys to try to squeeze in my own experience. It was my experience, but what I saw, it confirmed to me there is numerous religions out there, and in those churches, ladies and gentlemen, there's no presence of God. The God is inside of us. God lives within us, okay? You can lie on your bed and you pray. You can kneel down in your living room, you can pray. You can be out and about, you can pray. You are praying and the God is going to listen to you. But sometimes you are going to get connected to a church, ladies and gentlemen, and you're going to get trauma bonded, because the trauma bonds, a lot of times those people will make you believe. If you guys have seen some churches, the way people worship their pastors and their leaders in church, the way they worship those individuals, it's unbelievable. Instead of worshiping God, people put all their faith and attention to the leaders. They will give them all their money. I've seen sometimes churches where this pastor said that, oh, you can even bring land titles. A pastor told the congregation that they can go and sell their land and bring the land titles in church. Or bring the money in church. Give whatever you have. Give everything to God. Give everything. There's no problem with giving to God. Me, I can help people in my own little way. I can donate to charities. Something small I have, I can donate. But sometimes you have church leaders who are telling people to go and withdraw their last pennies in the bank to bring the offering to the church. You're dealing with a narcissist. Okay? And it is going to take them a very long time, because I've told you these trauma bonds also exist in churches. Many people are not aware of it. They exist in churches. You can get tied to a church. You will go there in the morning, you are going to sweep, you are going to clean, prepare for the guests to come, the followers, and you're going to participate in the church, but you're serving the wrong church. You are in the wrong church. Serving the right God, but you're in the wrong church. So guys, pay attention to these, a lot of these churches. A lot of these churches you guys, you're involved with, these are gold mines, okay? All these things I'm talking about, I've seen them, I know. They are gold mines. You see them, they will put those big baskets. Everybody will start to give in their money, their last pennies. Sometimes you may even have to walk home, because the church leader, the pastor, told you to give all your money to God. So you have to walk back home. You can't even pay for your transport. You have to walk home. And there's those leaders are going to start living like kings. They are going to live like kings. They are going to take that money. They are not going to give back to the community. Yes, some of them will do eventually, depending on the church. Some of them do give back to community, but some of them don't. That money, they are going to gather everything, and they are going to drive big cars, and they are going to build mansions. Are you guys following? While you're out there, you can't even pay your rent. You're struggling to eat. You can't even buy gas for your car. You have leaders who are who are riding in private jets. You're behind on your mortgage. Your pastor, they have used all the money they collected from those church, and they bought themselves a private jet. And I don't know where they're trying to go. Private jet. I remember one of the pastors was asked, why do you need a private jet? For what? Oh, because I have to go in different states. So I don't want to sit with the sinners. So he called everybody a sinner. He said that he cannot sit with the sinners to share the plane with the sinners. So he needs his own privacy. He's a man of God, so he needs his own privacy. And he can travel very quickly to his destinations, to different states. That was his answer. So that's the reason why he bought a private jet. Mansions, big cars. It's a scam, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? You're dealing with narcissists. So, like I've said, these people, they are in every pocket of society. You will find them in schools. You will find them in your universities. You will find them in hospitals. You will find them, they are in positions of power, authority. They're everywhere. Okay? The only thing is that many people are not aware of it. But the more you awaken, you come into the realization that narcissists and narcissism is a very deep rabbit hole. The deeper you go, ladies and gentlemen, you will be surprised as to how many of these individuals are scattered all over the planet. And church is not an exception. Church is one of them. Okay? So while you're going to church, ladies and gentlemen, like I've said, I do not have any problem with your faith. Go and praise and worship, but try to pay attention to details. Okay? Pay extra attention to the details. There will be always something that will show you that you might be in the wrong place, because those people, they come to church to look for those God-fearing women. Now they are going to get in touch with you because you're in the same church. So they're like, okay, So God wants us to be together. God told me. Sometimes you hear things like, God told me and you should be husband and wife. And you're going to believe them because eventually you're from the same church. There's no reason for you to doubt this. You get married and the abuse will kick in. Those people, they know how to pray the Bible. They know how to read the Bible. They know all the scriptures off of their head. Some of them have even gone to theology schools. They have studied everything. And then they have attached themselves to a church, or sometimes they have even opened up a church. But the only thing they have done is open up so they have just opened up their own gold mine. It's just for their own benefits. And for the members, these nurses come and they will sing in the church, they will worship. They're going to read the Bible, the Sunday schools and whatever. But they have come there to look for their next prey. Okay, so it is not always because you hear the word church, you're safe. Okay, it is not always like that because it's a church, so you are safe. Be aware, ladies and gentlemen, narcissism is very huge. It's a very deep rabbit hole. Those guys are everywhere. You will get married to one. I personally didn't have any entanglement with a religious narcissist, okay? So the narcissists I was involved with wasn't like churchgoers or whatever, not religious people. But the spiritual one, yes, spiritual one. And I've told you guys, spirituality and religion, they're not the same thing, okay? This one was a spiritual one. So my chosen ones, my empaths, be aware. If you see the red flags, something is telling you to leave, it is time for you to go, okay? Don't just try to hang around the wrong church. You're looking for God, only for you to land yourself in a trauma bond with the church, with the pastors, and eventually end up with a narcissistic individual who is also attending the church. Okay, my chosen ones? So, yes, it's true. Narcissists also go to church. They know how to sing the hymns, the gospel songs. They know how to read the Bible. They know the scriptures. Some of them are even running the entire church. So before you get entangled, look for the signs. There's always signs around you. If you cannot find a church that you can trust, the God you're looking for is not in a church. My ladies and gentlemen, my chosen ones, you need to wake up. The God that you're looking for is not in churches. The God is inside of you, inside of your heart. The God within. Okay? If you cannot find the church that you can connect with like-minded people, you have seen all these red flags, you don't trust these people, then it's time for you to take your time and remove yourself and try to locate a new church if you want to. If a person who loves to go to church, then try to find another church that you're comfortable with, okay? Because those people, they will also be found in the church. Now, let us know your experience. If you're the person who has gotten involved with a religious narcissist, okay, let us know what was your experience. As you guys know, I do love and appreciate your support. Please book a session. You can donate or support my channel if you want to. Everything you need, you will find it in the description below. And until then, I'll catch you guys in my next one. There's almost signing out. Much love and blessings. Peace.